Hey guys, Casey Arndt from Go the Distance Coaching here. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining me. I want to get really practical with you today. So I know that a lot of you are getting ready for your last event, or you've already had your last event of the year, and you may be wondering, it was such a pain to get to the pool and to swim all summer long. Can I get away with not swimming all winter? Or maybe you really love swimming and you want a little bit of idea of what is recommended for triathletes as you go into the off season. You're gonna have a few months where you won't have any races coming up. So I wanted to give you some suggestions. I'm going to talk a little bit about what some other coaches online that you may have come into contact with, what they recommend, and then some experiences that I've had with myself and with my athletes as well. So let's get started. So I want to tell you a little story first. So I have spent a couple of years doing aquabike, and honestly, I didn't run for a really long time, and I would love to get back into Olympic and half Ironman distance triathlons next year, and so I am not going to spend the winter not running. I'm going to run a lot this winter because I want to get really good at running. I need to get my endurance up, I need to get more efficient, I need to get faster, so I'm going to spend a lot of time running this winter. So I want you to be really honest with yourself. Where did you leave your swimming this season? If you compare yourself to the type of triathlete that you want to be, maybe somebody who places in the top 50% in the swim leg, maybe the top 30% in the swim leg, maybe the top 10% in the swim leg, whatever your goal is, you need to become that person way before it's time to race. So you're not just going to turn on that performance on race day in, say, June or July. You're going to have to gradually get there. It's going to take some time. So I want to really encourage you to be honest with where you are and where you want to be as you listen to these suggestions. If you don't really want to improve that much this year, then you can pretty much do whatever you want. If you're already super fast in the water, you can also pretty much do whatever you want. But if you're somewhere in the middle, you want to be faster, you're not as fast as you want to be, you've got a problem and you have a desire to change it, this off season could be an awesome time to really work on that. So I want to go over a couple of options. Now, I definitely recommend that if you've had a really long season, if you had a really tough last race, like an Ironman or something like that, you're gonna need to rest and rejuvenate for a while. You might want to take 2 weeks off where you just don't even do anything that even looks like swimming, biking, or running. You might even want to take a month of that and just don't do anything for a couple of weeks. I mean, try to keep the Haagen-Dazs ice cream eating to a minimum, but you can do anything. I mean, you could go do some Zumba for a week. You could go do some stand-up paddle boarding. I mean, some cross-country skiing. Whatever it is that you love doing that you have definitely not been doing for the last several months because you've been super focused on your A race, even if that's just hanging out with friends and going to the movies, you should go do that. I definitely believe that taking an off season to rejuvenate your mind and your body, to get some variety, that's super important. But when you're ready to get back into working out, maybe not like strictly training, but just doing something. I love to get in the weight room over the winter. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to really focus on building some good strength for the bike. But it can be an awesome time to work on whichever sport you really want to see the most improvement and to keep up some base fitness in the others. So you don't want to just let things go completely. You need to keep your cardiovascular fitness up. You need to keep some fitness going as you head through those eating holidays. So what should you do with your swimming? So here are some examples of things that coaches recommend for the off season. So if you are a Swim Smooth devotee, they have recently had an email that said you really should just keep on doing the same thing all year long. If you look at the types of workouts you're doing in February and compare them to July and compare them to October, they're really not that different. You're still doing some technique work, some open water skills even in the pool, some endurance, and doing plenty of critical swim speed work, which would be kind of upper threshold type of work, about where you would want to swim for a 70.3 or an Olympic if you're going hard. So they recommend just staying the same all the time. Now, some of you may be familiar with Tower 26. They have a podcast, a website. They're located in California, but they sell swim programs that anybody can use. they recommend a different approach where each month or set of several weeks is kind of in a different phase. And after Kona, they switch to basically technique only, and then they do a speed phase, and then they add in some endurance. So they change over the course of the year, whereas Swim Smooth is incorporating all of those elements all of the time. In my own background, because I've grown up swimming and I have some good efficiency, I actually don't swim in the winter at all. I keep my fitness, my cardiovascular fitness up in other ways, and because I have some good technique to fall back on, I can hop back into the pool in January or February and be ready for an A race in June, no problem. Other people are not that efficient. I happen to have run into another coach in California who says he's given up swim practice at all. He just shows up and races on race day because his technique is so dialed and he's got so much fitness from other things. He just doesn't even bother swimming at all, which all of us is kind of maybe our dream. But I definitely can't get away with that. And then on the other side of things, I was reading about some really amazing master swimmers today. 82-year-old guy who's breaking world records at the senior games. He's been swimming 5 to 6 times a week since he was 2. So that's 5 to 6 times a week, probably more, for 80 years straight. And another guy who is 103, and he's still setting records as well, and he swims only a few laps a day, but he's out there every day pretty much swimming, and he just set a 50-meter swim freestyle record as a 103-year-old. It was way slower than you would swim it, but man, if I was 103 and I was swimming at all, that's pretty freaking awesome. So you can go look him up. That was pretty cool. So do the same thing, change throughout the year, maybe take some time completely off, go swim with the Masters swim team and just do whatever they're doing so you don't have to come up with what you're doing. That's something you can do as well. Or you can buy yourself a book and just do whatever the book says to do. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and I want to just talk a little bit about how you might prioritize those different ideas from where you are. Hey, I'm super psyched that you guys are watching. Thanks for throwing down those comments and emojis. Hey Nicole, yes, you're definitely in swimming off season. Looking forward to seeing you back in the pool maybe next spring when it's not so cold. All right, so project number 1, you want to become a really good athlete in the water. So if you're already there, awesome. If you feel like you're not there yet, or I'm going to give you some standards you can measure against, then you definitely don't want to get out of the pool in the winter. You want to keep on swimming, keep on working on your efficiency, your endurance, your muscular endurance, so that by the time you get to the season, you are where you, or closer to where you want to be. So, for example, can you swim a single 100 yards in less than 2 minutes? If your answer is no, you definitely need to find a coach to help you with your technique, because you're definitely not efficient at all and you need to get some more efficiency. All right? So if you can swim 100 less than 2 minutes, that's awesome. Now, can you swim 10 of those 100s with short rests, like say 15 seconds to really make it challenging? And can all of those be under 2 minutes? If not, and you're motivated, you can also use a coach to improve your technique a bit, and you're also probably going to need some additional training for your muscular endurance. So if your idea of swimming is to hop in the pool and swim for half an hour and get out, then you probably don't have the muscular endurance to do that kind of set unless you just have amazing technique. Because you haven't really been training at high intensity, you haven't been using intervals, and so you may not have that kind of speed that you really could have. So that is another level where you're pretty fast, but you could be faster, and working on your muscular endurance and using intervals throughout the winter could really boost your ability to go quicker. All right, so that's another option. So some people might say, okay, I can do 100 in 2 minutes, I'm satisfied, I'm good, I don't care about the rest. That's fine. Know what it is that you're looking for. Know what your goal is. But if you are swimming slower than 2 minutes, you're definitely going to want to swim through the winter for sure. Now what you do with that, whether it's going to a master swim, whether it's using the swim smooth method and having a whole bunch of different types of things, or just really keying in on your technique for a while, like Tower 26 says, that's up to you. But you're definitely going to want to get some endurance in addition to working on your technique. So doing a bunch of 800-yard technique workouts is probably not going to get you where you want to go fast enough. So you're going to want to have some endurance stuff in there as well, and maybe even a little bit of speed just to start to feel what it feels like to go faster, even if it's only 25s. All right, so you want to become a good athlete in the water. Those are some minimum standards. If you're using the off season to do that, that's great. Now, how are you going to stick with it? Well, you need to know what it is that motivates you. Is it knowing that someone's going to know that you're at the pool? Is it just having the goal and really going for the goal and you're self-motivated? Is it having a book to follow? Is it using a service that's going to give you workouts to do? For example, you can subscribe to the Swim Smooth Guru and get workouts. You can buy the Tower 26 workouts. They have a workout every day in Santa Monica, and if you're in Austin, Texas, you can still do that workout because they're going to send it to you online with a lot of detail. And there's also books and other websites that have workouts that you can do that are just kind of generic, but probably meant for triathletes, which is ideal, and you can do those through the winter, or you can just show up at your local swim master swim and do what they're doing, which is probably going to be a little sprintier than normally I would recommend for a triathlete, but for this time of year, totally doesn't matter. Getting some swim lessons will also be helpful because that master swim coach likely is not going to give you a lot of feedback on your stroke. So having someone who's looking specifically at you is always better. But know what kind of accountability you need, know what kind of variety you need, know what kind of convenience you need. Does it need to be an indoor pool so you don't have to worry about the weather? Is it close enough to where you live or work? What time are the lanes available? Do you need it to be fun? Do you need to go with someone? Does it need to be rewarding? You can record your workouts on Strava if you have a bunch of friends who will give you a bunch of feedback. There are a lot of ways that you can make doing this fun, and make sure that you keep on doing it, because man, consistency is the key, right? I mean, if that 82-year-old guy had swum all the time for 80 years, he probably wouldn't be setting the kinds of records he is now. So I'm going to give you a little goal to aim at. By the end of your off season, this is where I would love for all of you to be able to swim 2,500 yards in an hour, twice a week, and to have your critical swim speed. Now, this is how fast you could swim a set of 200s for a long time with short rest to be 2 minutes or less. Now, that is not going to make you faster than all of the other people out there swimming these triathlons, but it is going to make you faster than the majority. So that's a great thing to focus on, right? If you can swim 2,500 yards in an hour, well, you can definitely fumble your way through a 1.2 mile swim. If you're going to do an Ironman, you're probably going to want to add some more endurance, but you're going to have the base endurance. That kind of critical swim speed is going to tell you that you have good muscular endurance and efficiency, and you can really tackle anything. You don't even need to change what you're doing. You could just take that thing that you've been doing through the off season and just keep it going, and you're going to do great at all of your swim races next year. All right, so I hope that gives you guys some ideas. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for watching today. And if you have questions about any of the suggestions here, if you've had different experiences, if you have ideas for other people who watch this video that you'd like to share, please put those in the comments. And I'm also going to add a link in the description to a guide that I wrote a while back that's got 4 workouts in it. If you're not used to using intervals in your swim training and you just want some ideas of what to do, and you want some good technique drills that you can use that will maybe make you a little bit quicker without a lesson, I've got these 4 for free, and just put your email in there and I'll send them right out to you in PDF format, and you can use those all winter. I had a guy tell me that he did modifications on them and he swam a better Ironman than he ever had. So this definitely is an approach that can work, and I hope that it will help you. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you right back here next week. Take care.